Yesterday was a day that I had been looking forward to, the release of Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Now, I admittedly, more than most people, really, really love, let's get the back screen changed, really, really loved the first Shazam movie. I mean, I get it. A lot of people really liked it. A lot of people liked it, but not many people loved it. I loved it. I was so thoroughly entertained by that. And it did not make huge box office, but I've been looking forward to a second one. So finally, yesterday we went to go see it. And I don't know where the Rotten Tomatoes meter stands right now. Let me look that up. Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's still above 50%. Yes, it is currently sitting at 55%, 54%. So still, I can say a majority of the critics like it. A razor thin majority of the critics like it. Of course, the first Shazam, I think, had like a 90% critic rating at any rate. So it was with hope that Ray and Ann and I went in to go see Shazam Fury of the Gods yesterday. And I, for those of you who saw our out of the theater reaction, this won't surprise you, but here's my general feelings on it. I did not think it was as good as the first one, but I had a damn good time. I had a damn good time at this movie. I liked it more than Black Adam. And if you had asked me a year ago, do you think the new Black Adam or the new Shazam is going to be better? I'm like, well, I love Shazam, but it's going to be Black Adam. I think it's better than Black Adam. It took the things that was strong about the first movie and really leaned into them. I will say this, though. There is a little bit, just don't freak out, a little bit of a Thor Love and Thunderism about it, in the sense that there are moments where, even though it's meant to be lighter and a little sillier, there are some points, not nearly as much as Thor Love and Thunder, but that their humor goes a little bit into the too silly. And I think that will rub some people the wrong way. Like, I don't think this movie is going to be for everybody. Just being totally clear about it. I'm not looking at this through rose-colored glasses. But I had a ball. I had a really, really good, fun time watching this movie. Again, Zachary Levi is terrific in this role. His supporting characters, the family, got to do more in this movie than they did last time. Like, they all definitely had a lot more dialogue and all that kind of stuff. And it worked. And the first post-credit scene is gold. Second post-credit scene, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with the second post-credit scene, but somebody can tell you what it is. You don't need to stick around for it. Let's just put it that way. But the first post-credit scene you should stick around for. I thought Helen Mirren was great, but not in it as much as I would like, although she did have one. We saw a little glimpse of it in one of the trailers. She has a kick-ass fight scene in it. Lucy Liu, she was getting no talk going into the movie. Lucy Liu was great in this. I thought she was wonderful. I actually thought, what's the girl's name from West Side Story again?
Oh, Rachel Zegler.
Ziegler, right. She, to me, was Oscar caliber in West Side Story. Oscar caliber. She is clearly a fantastic actress, and I cannot wait to see her in Snow White. She's going to be great. But everybody has a bad day at the office. And I'm going to say that while I love her and was super excited about her, I would actually say out of everything, she might have been kind of the weak link, but that probably has something to do with the writing as well. I didn't think they wrote her character nearly as well as they wrote some of the other ones. Yeah, just a good time. The dragon looked awesome. I loved the action stuff that I loved in the trailers. I don't think I liked it quite as much as the first, but I solidly enjoyed this film. Ray, you were there with me.
Yep,
you said coming out of it, you actually thought it was better than the first. What are your thoughts on the movie?
What's your problem? No, I thought it was a good time. It started off fast and it just kept going fast throughout the whole thing. I mean, there's a lot of imagination in this movie. Like kid's imagination. If you remember like the first Harry Potter, there's like a lot of stuff that reminded me of Harry Potter, like the fantasy stuff about it I really liked. There's not much to say. I actually enjoyed the whole thing. Like, I thought it was better than the first. I want to see Zachary Levi and, more importantly, the rest of the family in something now, because I really like their close the bond that they have in this movie. So I do want to see the mom and dad. I think they're great in the movie. Lucy Liu, it's always nice seeing her on screen. We don't. Well, at least for me, I don't see her a lot in a lot of things. But
she had a hit show that I never watched once. It was that Sherlock Holmes show. It was a modern day Sherlock. Elementary. Thank you. How many? That thing got like more than 4 seasons, didn't it?
Wow.
4
Yeah.
or 5 or something seasons. I never watched it, but she was working.
yeah, but on the big screen, it was really nice seeing her again. So, yeah, I suggest everyone just try to watch this movie. Give it some money.
What did you think about the humor? Because I was saying that the one thing that I think might rub some people the wrong way is that maybe a little bit of the humor went a little silly sometimes. It worked for me, but what did you think?
Well, I thought the humor matched the child in Billy Batson. So it's like I took myself out of being too serious, and all of it worked for me. I mean, it's not like none of the comedy didn't fit for me. I thought like the comedy from each person, even if it was silly, I just looked at, oh man, that's a kid or whatever like that. I don't know. It worked for me. I know some of it didn't work for you, but I mean, that movie is insane anyways. Like all the stuff that happens in this movie is so insane. Like you got to take yourself out of reality for a minute. Yeah.
I'll tell you what though, here's the thing. This movie's going to tank.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate, but it's going to tank. Our theater was not full. Now, granted, we went to a 3 p.m. screening, so I mean, it's not completely unreasonable that the theaters weren't full. I certainly hope it does better than the 35 million they're projecting right now.
We got some good reactions from that theater, though.
Dude, I'll tell you what, the theater we were in seemed to love it,
man.
the theater we were in was into it. They were laughing, they were clapping. You could hear, and there's a couple of legitimate emotional parts.
Oh yeah,
where I got a little choked up. Actually,
it's crazy.
But here's the other problem they're going to face. The other problem they're going to face with Shazam moving forward is this. Besides the fact that now you have a very problematic situation where the first one didn't make all that much money, like it never cracked 400 million, and now the second one is going to make even less. So that's a big problem already. Trying to continue with Zachary Levi as Shazam, even though I really like him as it. The other problem they're going to face is this. You know, one of the things they talk about in this movie is that Billy is about to turn 18. Well, Billy's going to be 21 soon. Shazam. And like you can't, the Shazamness of it is going to be gone. Like you make a Shazam movie where Billy Batson isn't 14, he's 21. He's literally, he's in a bar, legally in a bar, having a beer. Shazam. And then he just turns into Zachary Levi.
Why not? I mean, they do it in like Gods or Justice. What is that game?
Gods and Monsters, and Monsters,
Injustice, Gods Among Us.
Oh yeah, Among Us.
He's an adult.
Is Billy an adult in that?
Oh yeah.
Why don't I remember that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a little problematic.
Do you think it's their way of saying, "Hey, this is it"? By them saying it's or just saying, "Oh, if we're going to do another one, it's going to be the next stage in his life."
Well, here's the problem. This, of course, everybody's got to remember that even though James Gunn and Peter Safran have been the heads of DC for a little while now, this movie, the Flash movie, the Aquaman movie are all old Warner Brothers. It's not their new Warner Brothers. So it's almost like whatever happens in these movies are just for the sake of these movies. It's not for the sake of what comes next. So I don't know. I will say this. The post-credit scene throws it a little bit into confusion. Mm-hmm. And I won't say what the post-credit scene is, but the post-credit scene throws it a bit in confusion. I just think it's going to be, they're going to have a very, very hard time. Listen, I'm going to need James Gunn, who everybody knows I'm a huge fan. I am a James Gunn fanboy. All right. Fully admit. But James is going to have to do some splaining to me if this movie, which is going to tank, I hope it doesn't because I love it, but it's going to tank. He's going to have to explain to me if this movie tanks, which would be 2 Shazam movies in a row that really underperform, and the fact that Billy is now aging out and all that kind of stuff. He's going to have to explain to me how they do keep Zachary Levi Shazam around, but my man Henry isn't there anymore. He's going to have to explain that to me.
I had one more question. Like,
all right.
Okay, like, you know, this movie, Aquaman, Flash, obviously it went through David Zaslav, and he obviously wanted them to release. I
remember they were made without David Zaslav.
Yeah, but
David
Zaslav watched them and said
release them.
because that's how they canceled Batgirl, right? Because they watched him and said, nah. I was under the assumption it was because they are good movies.
So far, so good.
But after watching this movie looked expensive.
It wasn't. They actually made this movie for about half the amount that they made Black Adam for.
Oh,
The
okay.
budget on this one was $100 million, which is still a very expensive movie, but compared to the average comic book movie these days is like 150, 200 million, sometimes north of that. So it was actually pretty.
Okay, so that
No, I don't
answers my question.
I think it's kind of baked in. I don't think they'll lose money in the long run on this. So.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. Like, again, if this thing makes 35 million opening weekend, I don't know that breaking even is going to be in the cards. I hope it does, though, because I had a really good time. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What did you think about Shazam! Fury of the Gods if you were one of the people that ran out to see it last night? I had a really good time with it, but only about half the critics like it. Almost half of them don't. Maybe you're one of the people that didn't enjoy it. Do you think there could be a future for the character in the upcoming new DC starting in 2025? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. We want to thank a sponsor of this video, MasterClass. MasterClass offers classes on a wide variety of topics, all taught by world-class instructors at the very top of their fields. Each class is broken out into individual video lessons, usually around 10 minutes long. And MasterClass is completely accessible on your phone, the web, smart TV, and available via audio mode to listen to classes on the go. They have over 2,500 video lessons from over 180 of today's most brilliant minds. They're all available anytime, anywhere on iOS, Android, desktop, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Roku. Now, obviously around here on the John Campea Show, we love our movies, so why not learn filmmaking from Jodie Foster, or maybe directing from Ron Howard himself, or the great Neil Gaiman doing his class on the art of storytelling. And you guys have heard me talk about my favorite class, Business Strategy and Leadership by Big Papa Iger himself, Bob Iger, the new and returning CEO of Disney. So guys, I highly recommend that you check it out. Get unlimited access to every class, and as a John Campea Show listener, you get 15% off an annual membership. Just go to masterclass.com/Campea now. That's masterclass.com/Campea for 15% off Masterclass.